Hello.
Hey, Shirley.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight?
Oh, whoops.
How's everyone doing tonight?
Excelente.
That's good. We have so many.
I'm good.
We have so many people from other states and other leadership people on here. Glad you came to the 3rd annual Athlete Leadership Council meeting.
Hey, Jose, I sent you in the messenger.
And I'm Daniel, along with Eric. We are the co-chairs of our Athlete Leadership Council. And also on the call, we have Lisa, who is the secretary of our Athlete Leadership Council, and Jose and Kaylee. And the Athlete Leadership Council, we meet every other month, and we give input and our ideas to the staff and board of directors for Special Olympics Illinois. And we have, speaking of our board of directors, we have Kathy and Tom, who are members of the board of directors on. You can communicate with them in the chat room. Eric?
Oh, I guess I'm introducing Catherine.
Nope, overview.
Oh, the overview. The Illinois Public Health Institute has partnered with Special Olympics Illinois to create our own nutritional guidelines to help ensure Special Olympics Illinois provides healthy options to athletes, families, staff, coaches, volunteers, and our entire community. Before we can start creating these guidelines, we need your input on what should go into them.
And from the Illinois Public Health Institute, we have Catherine Bonstein with us. Catherine is a nutrition program manager at the Illinois Public Health Institute. Within her role at the Illinois Public Health Institute, Catherine manages the nutrition strategy of the Illinois State Physical Activity and Nutrition Program, a cooperative agreement with the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. Catherine has a Master of Public Health and Nutrition from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. She is also a registered and licensed dietitian. Growing up, Catherine was a competitive fencer. Now she enjoys snowboarding, boxing, and the occasional backpacking trip.
And also we have Patan Gonron. I can't pronounce it. Hopefully I pronounce it right. It's a public institute at Illinois Public Health Institute. At Illinois Public Health Institute, Patan assists grant management and program development for the I-SPAN program. She has her Master's of Public Health from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Growing up, Patan ran track in high school. Now she enjoys biking and yoga. Please give them a warm welcome into our meeting tonight. It's all you guys, both of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Eric. And thank you to all of you so much for having Pasang and I at your meeting today. We are super excited to be here. Let me just share my screen. Did that work? We good? All right, thank you. So as already wonderfully introduced, we are going to talk about nutrition guidelines for Special Olympics Illinois, and I'm really, really grateful to have your all's input before we really start on this process. So we've already been fully introduced. I didn't expect such a thorough introduction, so I have this slide, but did want to just go ahead and share the picture Pasang and I are on the right side. This is a pre-COVID team outing that we had where we did not such a good job at an Olympic sport of boxing, but we had fun anyways. So we've been introduced, but Pasang and I don't know all of you. So if you would be willing, we would love for you to put your name, your location, and your favorite sport into the chat so we can get to know who's on the call today. And I'm gonna make sure I've got the chat up so I can, oh, I'm having trouble finding it, but for Pasang, she'll, so Pasang can see. So while folks are adding that in, I want to just talk about what I want to share with you all for the next little bit. So we already did some introductions. I'll add just a little bit about the organization Pasang and I work for and how we came to be here with all of you this evening. And then I want to talk just a tad bit about nutrition. Specifically, we'll talk about two types of carbohydrates. Those are fiber and sugar. And after that, I really want to hear from all of you. Some of the questions we'll ask, I've gone ahead and put on the slide in case you want to start thinking about some of your answers. And of course, feel free to put questions in the chat anytime. Pasang and Carolyn are able to help keep an eye on that for me, and I'll keep trying to get the chat up on my end too. It's just hard with the screen sharing. So as mentioned, we're both coming from the Illinois Public Health Institute. We are a statewide nonprofit, and we're focused on improving public health systems in order to make it easy for people to live healthy lives. So through our organization, we got a program called the Illinois State Physical Activity and Nutrition, which we also call ISPAN for short. It's a program where the goal is to make it, to implement physical activity and nutrition interventions that make it easier for the people in Illinois to live the healthiest possible lives. And we do center our work on communities that we know have been hit hardest by chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes and heart disease. And we're in year 3 out of 5 of our program. So we've got 2 years and just a little bit to go. We work on 4 strategies. It's the 4 strategies you see here on the slide, but we're here today really because of our food service guidelines work. So that's the one on the far right. Our food service guidelines work is focused on helping organizations procure, which just means to get, to serve, and or to promote healthier foods in a way that's right for them. So that's really how we got connected with Special Olympics Illinois, with Carolyn, and with all of you. So we are super excited to help Special Olympics Illinois create guidelines that will help the organization be sure that they're providing healthier foods. So with that background, I want to just talk a little bit about nutrition. You all might already know, but there are 6 categories of nutrients. Those are carbohydrates, fat, protein, vitamins, minerals, and water. And we need all of those categories for survival and for good health. So as you can hopefully see from the pictures, there are foods that we might traditionally think of as healthy or as less healthy in each of the categories. So apples and white bread both have a lot of carbohydrates. Salmon and butter both have a lot of fat. Lentils and hot dogs both have a lot of protein. Oranges and fortified sugary cereal both have a lot of vitamins. Bananas and salty pretzels both have minerals. And water, of course, but also soda, both have a lot of water in them. So no nutrient category is good or bad. They're just the way that we think about our nutrients. So one of those types of nutrients is carbohydrates. And again, carbohydrates aren't good or bad. They're just a type of nutrient. So there are some of the foods that are really high in carbohydrates are on the slide. So think about milk, vegetables, sugary beverages, bread, rice, pasta, beans, and fruit. Those are all high in carbohydrates. And there are a few different types of carbohydrates, but today I just want to talk about two of those. So that's fiber and sugars. So one type of carbohydrates is fiber. Fiber is technically known as, thought of as the non-digestible part of plants that give plants their structure. So it's the reason plants don't just fall. And there are two types of fiber. You don't have to memorize these or know them. I just think it's interesting. There's soluble fiber, which means it dissolves in water. And that's the type of fiber that's really helping to lower blood sugar and cholesterol levels. There's also insoluble fiber, which means it does not dissolve in water. And that helps with digestion, with regularity, and to prevent constipation. So you may have heard that fiber is a good thing and that we should get more of it. People say that because fiber appears to reduce the risk of developing heart disease, diabetes, diverticular disease, which is a disease of the digestive system, and constipation. But unfortunately, almost everyone does not get all the fiber that they need. So I just shared a little bit about why fiber is important in general, but I would love to hear from you. Why do you think it might be important to the Special Olympics community in particular? So if someone wants to unmute and share, please feel free, or you can also just put your thoughts in the chat.
Ben, did you have a question or were you going to answer the question?
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Ben Simpson. I am the health messenger of the Special Olympics. You said about doing getting like food, water, bananas, and any to take with you for an event, because that is a great way to do that, because I want other athletes to have more hydration. So you have to drink a lot of water, but not Gatorade, because Gatorade is not good for you because there's a lot of sugar. But some of them are like some diabetic or not diabetic if they have white bread or wheat bread. So only just talk about different kind of food options if they have for going to event.
So are you, just want to make sure I'm understanding right, Ben, are you saying that we really need to be focusing on water and less on Gatorade and sports beverages and having snacks like bananas and other fruits for competition?
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think you're right. It's and you're a little ahead of me. I'm getting to I'm going to talk about you're way ahead of the game. I'm going to talk about Gatorade and sports drinks in just a little bit.
Do they have water or no?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Only water, because water will keep you hydrated. But if you get in the heat, that's not good.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I think that's such an important point.
Yeah. Sports drinks do still contain water, so that's a better thing.
Yeah, they have a lot of water. They also have a lot of sugar.
Make sure they hear you.
It is.
Sorry, what?
Say it again.
We could get noon tablets to put in water.
Yeah, getting tablets to get electrolytes. Yeah, that's a great idea. Are there any, Pasang, would you be able to help, or Carolyn, if anyone put anything about fiber in the chat?
Is it depend on the?
Yeah, we have quite a bit in the chat, some great answers about fiber being important to build a healthier body, in shape, feel good, clean out your system to help us stay healthy and active, maintain a healthy lifestyle so we don't get hurt, for energy, fuel, energy, that's been a common answer too, and staying healthy.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Great answers, everyone. Okay, so important next question. If we know fiber is important, where do we get it? Well, luckily we can find fiber in a lot of foods, but the best sources are from whole grains, from fruits, vegetables, legumes, which means like beans and peas, and also from nuts. So speaking of whole grains, I just want to make sure everyone knows how to tell whether a food is a whole grain. The package might say 100% whole grain right on it, or 100% whole wheat. If the package says that, you know it's a whole grain and you're good to go. If it doesn't, then you can look at the ingredients list, and if the first ingredient says whole before it, then it's a whole grain. So this picture on the slide shows the very first ingredient is whole grain wheat. So then you know it's a whole grain. On the other hand, refined grains are not whole grains. They've actually had the healthiest part of the grain removed. And it's important not to be fooled by brown color. Some manufacturers actually dye their products brown to make them look like a whole grain, even if they're not. So it's important to read the ingredients list and remember, if the first ingredient doesn't say whole, it's not a whole grain. So with this one, it says unbleached enriched flour. So it doesn't say whole there, so it's not a whole grain. So now it's a time for a quiz. Sorry if you weren't expecting a quiz, but Carolyn's gonna help me launch a poll, and please just check the answer that you think. Which of these foods is higher in carbohydrates? Is it number 1 or number 2?
That's easy.
Yeah.
All right, it looks like we've got about 2/3 of you have voted, 3/4. Let's see if we can just get 1 or 2 more. All right, do we want to show the results? All right, good job. So the right answer was number 1. Pasta, rice, and bread are all very high in carbohydrates, and eggs are very low in carbohydrates. So they're actually mostly made of protein and fat, but the other ones have lots of carbohydrates.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Yeah.
It's just down to the molecular level. It's what makes them up. So with eggs, the eggs are really like they're meant to be baby birds, right? So it's everything that the little baby bird needs to grow. So they need lots of fat and they need lots of protein to grow, and they don't need very much carbohydrates. Whereas the plants are mostly made out of carbohydrates. So plants like the grains and the rice is all coming from plants.
Isn't egg is part of, it kind of does. Isn't egg though is part of the hybrid though?
Part of the which?
I said egg is part of the higher fiber though.
Eggs are pretty low in fiber because they don't have very much carbohydrates.
Good. Okay.
Thanks for your question. So let's try another one. Right along Tim's question, which of these are higher in fiber? So these are both high in carbohydrates, 1 and 2, and we'll launch a new poll. We did. So which one do you think is higher in fiber? Looks like we've got about half of folks that voted. All right, I think we're good to share the results. Awesome. So I'm making these questions too easy, clearly. So it is number 2. The best sources of fiber are whole grains, fresh fruits and vegetables, legumes, and nuts. And oats are one of those whole grains. So that's why oats were higher in fiber. Great job. So last one, let's see if I can get some more of you this one. So which of these grains are whole? So these are both grains. Which one's whole? All right. We can maybe show the results. I didn't get that many more of you. I thought this one was hard. It is number one.
I couldn't because everyone was saying in the chat at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see
I had
answers
it ready
in
on
the
the-
chat and in
The chat was
poll.
blocking me and submitting my vote.
Oh, gotcha.
But it is one.
Well, we know what you would have put. So you know, and most of you probably got this because it says 100% whole wheat right on that package there, whereas this other one says organic wheat flour. So since it doesn't say whole, we know it's not a whole grain. All right, so now I want to switch gears to a less healthy carbohydrate, and that's added sugars. So added sugars are just sugars that are added into foods and beverages rather than occurring naturally. So they can include all these things on the slide and more. So things like table sugar, honey, agave, syrups, whenever those are added into foods and beverages, that's added sugars.
Soda also have tons of sugar, and so does Gatorade.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. And you will see, I got a little demonstration planned for you all to exactly that point. So the trouble with added sugars is we know too much added sugar can put you at higher risk for cardiovascular disease, for different sorts of cancers, for diabetes, high blood pressure, kidney disease, liver disease, challenges with weight, pancreatic cancer, retina, muscle, and nerve damage. And additionally, it can cause cavities, inflammation, and other concerns as well. And it's recommended that we get definitely no more than 10% of our calories from added sugars, but it's probably best to get less than 9 teaspoons of sugar per day if you're a man, or less than 6 teaspoons if you're a woman or a child of added sugar a day. But we actually get about 13% of our calories from added sugars, which is 17 teaspoons per day. So we're getting more in America than is recommended. So if you all could put in the chat, we heard why added sugars are a concern in general, but would love to hear from you in the chat why you think they might be important to the Special Olympics community in particular. I'll try and pull up the chat again.
It depends on what, it depends on what it helps us to keep ourselves going. With some sugar is good for us to keep ourselves going throughout the whole day. But we have to also need to be careful how much sugar we have throughout the day.
Yeah, I think that's exactly
like
right.
a lot of sugar go a long way.
Yeah.
A little bit of sugar, why it's okay.
Yeah, so sugar does, great point, Tim. Sugar does provide energy and especially can give you kind of quick energy. So sometimes it might be helpful for your sports, but we do have to be wary of how much we're eating throughout the day or on average, because it can have all those health concerns too. So I'm seeing some really great things in the chat. I finally got it pulled up. So to curb diabetes and to be fit and healthy, we might cramp up more while playing sports. Yeah, for a balanced diet, not good for competing athletes.
And also milkshake and is way is also, I mean, smoothie is more better for us than a milkshake. Because smoothie also help you keep yourself going as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's another good point. Smoothies and milkshakes both have quite a bit of sugar in them, but from smoothies, it tends to come from fruit. So you're also getting that fiber. If you remember, fruits and vegetables are a great source of fiber, but milkshakes don't really have that fiber in them. So that's a good point too. Thanks for all these answers in the chat. I'm seeing some really, really good stuff in here. And I want to make sure we're saving. Hassan, can you help me make sure we're saving the chat so we can refer back to it as well? Thank you. All right, so where do we find our added sugars? They are in a lot of places, but the main place we get them in our diets in the US are from sugar sweetened beverages. So it's from those sugary beverages. And within sugary beverages, they're mostly coming from soft drinks, from fruit drinks, and then from those sports and energy drinks as well. And then the next biggest source of added sugars are desserts and sweet snacks. And within that category, added sugars are coming from cookies and brownies, ice cream, cakes and pies and donuts and sweet rolls and pastries. So I want to talk a little bit more now about added sugars in beverages. So as already alluded to, you guys are always ahead of me. There's a picture of a sports drink on the slide. This is a 32-ounce sports drink. And you can see from the label, there are 55 grams of sugar, added sugar in this container. So if you drink much less than the full container, you might get 21 grams. But if you drink the full container, which most folks do, then you get 55 grams of added sugar. But how much is that really? And well, we know there are 4 grams of sugar in 1 teaspoon of sugar. Sorry for the math. I know I've got quizzes and math and stuff that we don't always like, but that's the way it goes sometimes. So if we divide 55 grams of sugar in 1 bottle by 4 grams of sugar in 1 teaspoon, then we find out there are 14 teaspoons of sugar in 1 bottle. So now I want to show you what that looks like. I'm going to change my camera and hope it stays. I'll try and lift it up. So I've got that bottle right here. I also have a container of sugar and a teaspoon measure. So could folks, if anyone's comfortable, could you unmute and help me count to 14 teaspoons of sugar? We're going to see what this looks like. All right, so 1. Is anyone counting with me?
Yeah.
1,
2,
2, 3,
1, 2, 3, 4,
3, 4,
5,
5,
6,
6,
7,
7,
8,
8, 9,
9,
10,
10,
11,
11,
12,
12,
13,
13,
and 14.
14.
Is that more
14.
sugar than you would have thought? Less than you would have thought? Seems like a lot of sugar to me. What do you guys think?
yeah.
Also
That's that's too much sugar. About
Hey,
that.
wait,
I'm
boy.
surprised it didn't fill up more.
Only water.
It's way too much. Way
Too
too
much.
much.
I agree. Too
Yeah.
much.
Boy.
Way too much.
All right,
Catherine,
so-
we had a quick question, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
For the next drink, just about calories,
Mhm.
how we find like the recommended, the 9 and the 6 teaspoons of sugar, but how we might know for young adults or adults a recommended calorie limit per se per day.
Yeah, I can send that to you, Carolyn, if you're okay to send it out. There's tables because it depends on, I know this is a terrible answer, but it depends. It depends on your age, your gender, your activity level, and a few different things as well. But Passan, could you send me a quick email to remind me to do that?
Oh, yeah.
I'll send you the tables to
Yeah,
check it out.
that's
Yeah.
great. And then just a reminder, we'll send that out to everyone, and then we'll also send out Catherine's presentation. So when we send follow-up notes, we'll get all of those items out to you.
Right.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Conan.
And if there's any questions I can't answer, I'm happy to, include that in follow-up email as well.
Yeah, I
Um,
do stuff.
I do have a
Oh.
question as well.
I do, before we move on.
Okay.
Who wants to go first? You, me, or Tim?
Doesn't matter.
You can go first, Tim.
How can we tell by, I mean, each time, I mean, there's some daily like cereal, like I give the Gary the cereal less sugar. Then, and there is like how could I each time I look at it, I look at the particular sugar. How many? I mean, we don't want to have too much sugar, but what can we do if made it not so too much way sugar?
Sorry, is the question how to make sure we don't have too much sugar?
Yeah,
Maybe find,
maybe that was my
yeah,
question.
just find sugar-free beverages that are of the same type.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Ryan. We know that, here, I'll go back a little bit. We
There's-
know, Tim, that most of our sugar is coming from
Yeah,
sugar sweetened beverages.
There's sugar-free lemonade and sugar-free fruit punch and all sorts of that.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that we're trying not to have too many diet beverages either, because then they're adding in that kind of artificial sugar, which can
Yeah,
cause
so-
digestive distress. But
But the thing about diet sodas is, I have one exactly right here.
mhm.
They have 70 grams of sodium and nothing else on the nutrition facts here.
Yeah, and they put in some sugars that our body's not able to digest. So they taste sweet to our tongues, but they aren't taken up into our body.
Says that soft drinks have 16. Soft drinks have 16.
But the thing about soft drinks is,
Sorry, what?
they have Pepsi Zero and Coke Zero.
Yeah,
What are the things, what is exactly that compared to the diet?
Yeah, that was my next question as well.
sorry, I think I might have missed the question. Were you
But-
adding a question, Ryan?
Yeah, so the Coke and Pepsi Zero,
Uh-huh.
what are those like compared to diet?
I think they're the same. It's just another word for a diet beverage. It means, 0 calories. So they're still adding in artificial sugar, which just again
So
means the body's not
basically-
able to
Basically,
absorb it.
what's the difference between Coke Zero and Diet Coke?
They are, in terms of nutrition, not very much, but they're different manufacturing processes, so they taste a little different. Like
Oh.
they use different ingredients in it to make the product, but they're both still no calorie. Does that answer your question?
I think recently, within the last year, I saw for the first time a I know I saw the sugar-free soda, but
Yeah, there's so much out there, to your point, Ryan, about ways that we can switch things out.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
But what are the risks of having a sugar-free soda? Like what's in there?
Yeah, so it's got a lot of artificial ingredients. So we don't know that much about them. There's some evidence that they can cause health problems. And for some people, they cause digestive distress, digestive troubles, because it is still going through your body, but you're just not absorbing it. So it depends on how you react to it. So it's best not to have too much of it, but it is a good replacement if you're looking to cut down on your sugar.
There's some Gary cereal that I mostly buy, and my coworkers recommend me try it.
Mhm.
All right, we're gonna keep going, everybody. So
Well,
Catherine's gonna continue her demonstration, and if you have a comment or another question, please put it in the chat. We're gonna make sure we have enough time to cover everything.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. I'm glad you're interested and engaged, and would love to answer all your questions. I wish we had more time. So want to try this again real quick. Now I've got a 20-ounce soda. So as we were talking about sodas, so it's smaller than our 32-ounce sports drink, but there's actually even more sugar in this smaller container. So you can see from the label, there's 69 grams of added sugar in this smaller bottle. So again, we know that 4 grams of sugar makes 1 teaspoon. So can someone tell me how many teaspoons are in this bottle? We would do 69 divided by 4. Put it in the chat. Oh, I already see it. Ryan put it in there. It's 17 teaspoons. Nice job. So do we remember there's 14 teaspoons already in here that we've already measured out? So I'm going to do some math and say if we can put these 14 teaspoons into the bottle, then we're going to need to add 3 more in order to get to 17. So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3. So if we thought there was too much sugar in the bigger bottle, here's how much we got in the smaller bottle. It's a lot of sugar. So my last one is an energy drink. And this is a 16-ounce energy drink. So it's the smallest drink yet. It's actually half the size of the sports drink. So who can tell me, can you put in the chat how many grams of added sugar are in this bottle? And as a hint, you can look at the label on the slide. Oh yeah, I see it, 54, 54 grams. So again,
54.
so we know that there's 4 grams of sugar per teaspoon. So if we divide 54 by 4, oh my gosh, you guys are ahead of me again. Yeah, it's 13.5 teaspoons. So I went ahead and already measured this out in our can. So I'll just dump it out. We can watch it all come out of this can. Just keeps going. So it's a lot of sugar in these little bits of drink. So I hope you can see that it's not always obvious what's in our food or our beverages, and which food or beverages are healthy and which foods are less healthy. So that's why we've teamed up with Special Olympics Illinois to develop nutrition guidelines. It's to help ensure Special Olympics Illinois provides healthy options to athletes, families, staff, coaches, volunteers, etc. But before we can start, we really need your thoughts. So we'll probably mostly do the chat just for the sake of time. But if you guys could put in the chat, why is nutrition important to you? It can be for you personally, for your sport, or for something else. So I've managed to get the chat up so I can read them out loud. Why is nutrition important to you? So we achieve an equal diet. Why is it important in your life? To stay healthy and fit. Nutrition is stay healthy.
Stay healthy, stay fit, and stay strong.
Stay strong, healthy, fit. Love it. Those are good. To stay healthy for my competitions and daily lives. That's great. Thanks, Daniel. To remain strong. Yeah. Stay healthy. Perfect. All right. So I want to think about another question. So given that, what kinds of foods do you think Special Olympics should provide more of? Or what should they provide less of? So go ahead and put in the chat any thoughts you have. What should Special Olympics Illinois provide more of? What should they provide less of? More fruits. More fruits. Yeah, we had that banana idea earlier. More fruits, veggies, water, water. Yeah, really important for competition. Vegetables. Less chips and fried. More fruits and vegetables.
All foods, all vegetables, nothing but anything.
Sorry, what was that, Ben?
All food, all vegetables, not anything.
All fruit, all vegetables. Love it. Less cookies and sugary foods. We have lots of options at our state competitions, such as summer games like salads, fruits, veggies, etc. That's great. It's good to have the options so everyone can pick what they want and need. Any other thoughts, things that you'd like to see more of or less of? More vegetables. Be aware of allergies. That's an important point. Less sugar options. But there's sweet stuff too, so maybe some sugar-free options of those. Yeah, like we were talking about with trading out the different ideas. Oh. All right. This is really helpful. Thank you. Let me make sure we save this chat. No high carb foods.
No canola.
No what?
I said less canola, but more fruit and salad
Yeah.
and more water, and we should also have smoothie or something
Smoothies. Oh.
instead of canola. We should have a smoothie instead, because that's more healthier. Keep everybody going.
Thanks, Tim.
In my opinion.
Thank you. That's great.
No problem.
All right. I see less sweets. Yeah, watching out for sugar substitutes. Yeah, thank you. All right, so our next question is, we're planning on handing out a survey to the Special Olympics Illinois community to get more input. So we're starting with your input and we're going to look for more input as well, but would love to know from you all, what kind of questions should we put in the survey? What do we need to find out from other athletes or from families or coaches or staff? What kind of questions do we need in there? What kind of sugar-free options?
I didn't hear the question. I didn't hear the question.
Oh, sorry, Josh, I'll repeat it. We plan on putting out a survey to learn from more people what they would like to see in the nutrition guidelines, and are wondering from you what kind of questions we need to put in that survey. So what kind of information do we need to get? So I'm seeing so far about health conditions, figuring out what people's health conditions are and different dietary needs, allergies, what types of fruits and veggies they want to see. Yeah, and needing nutrition for different conditions that folks are dealing with. Okay. Any other questions we'd want to put in the survey? Things we should learn from families or from staff or from coaches or from other athletes? Protein alternatives.
Gotta have protein.
Yes, you do. Protein's one of those important nutrients.
And also you can add smoothies too. I forgot that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely mixing fruit and smoothies. Oh. Yeah, some of it's personal choice. Absolutely. We don't want to take away anyone's choice. Just want to make sure that folks are able to make the choices that they need to make. Carbohydrate intake. Great. Thank you.
Can I give you an example?
Sure.
Okay, I was camping long time ago, and I was in the sun 2 months. And I was drinking lemonade. Lemonade has a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
But that doesn't have to hydrate yourself. But I have a couple of nice ladies that took me inside, put the ice packs on me to cool off.
Yeah.
And you have to drink a lot of water before you go outside, do some stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
that example, Ben.
like for example, we make the cookies and brownies sugar-free? I think we could, right?
Yeah, you could. There's
We ha-
there's a
we
lot
have-
of creative recipes
We
out
have
there.
we have desserts at our state games, as you know, so
Hmm.
we could possibly,
Look for healthier alternatives.
such as
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah, you can
Let's
make brownies.
let's junk food and more healthy food.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, this
Catherine,
question.
this is Kathy Sneed when I'm on the board of directors, and I think sometimes too, finances affect people because unfortunately the unhealthy foods are cheaper than the healthy ones.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
when you're asking
Exactly.
questions to the families, you know, you don't want to pry into their finances, but is that financially why some people are not eating as healthy because they can't afford the healthier foods?
That's a great point, Kathy. Maybe we could think about a question along the lines, if you don't always pick, the types of foods you might want, what are the barriers? Like, is it
One of the things
unfamiliarity?
one of the things we've been discussing here is, and I put it in the chat, is number one, what is the what are the guidelines now that the nutritional health says, because I know those have changed over the years.
Yeah.
And secondly, what are the calorie counts that are given for young adults and adults now?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that we need to consider too.
Yeah.
is-
Thanks for that question. When I send that calorie chart to Carolyn to send out to everyone, it'll be with the current version of the dietary guidelines for Americans. So to your point, exactly, that's the current nutritional guidance.
Yeah, because Tony had one of those questions and I had the other one.
Yeah, I had the guidelines. So what is the guidelines? Because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I can definitely send those. So my last question, I know I'm out of time, are just if you could think about if there are other supports that Special Olympics Illinois could provide to help athletes, their families, staff, and guests to be healthy. So any other things you think, and if other things for any of the other questions pop to mind, please feel free to just put them in the chat. Again, we're going to make sure that
I do.
we save it so we can go back.
I do.
Yeah.
Because the thing about too much too much sugar, because I'm too much sugar, because I'm don't drink pops. Don't drink some pops either. Do something like drink lots of water. Every sport.
Along with, I guess, this link.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely important to have lots of water and lots of healthy beverage options, especially for folks that are as athletic.
We need more fruits and vegetables.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, I do understand. I know it's fun to have like sugars and stuff while we're like not competing at night during state. I get it because it's supposed to like make it more fun, I guess. Well, they have like dinner and stuff.
You can't, because that way
Thank you all so much for sharing all your thoughts out loud and in the chat. And I put my email address and phone number up on the slide. So if anyone thinks of anything else to add, please feel free to reach out. And I'd love to answer any questions I didn't get to. And I know I'll send those materials once we get off so they can be sent out to everyone. But I have gone after my time. I apologize. So I need to send it back to Carolyn and Daniel and Eric for their part of today's meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Catherine, for the presentation, and Carolyn will send out all the PowerPoint and all the other information tomorrow or this week.
Okay,
And
Dale.
we'll, just to recap, well, that's basically the recap. And
Okay, Dale.
I'll turn it over to Eric and Carolyn for any other closing
I
thoughts.
just want to say, be on the lookout for our next, be on the lookout for important things with this. And then also, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And also, this is our third annual, so we'll have another one in August. And I'm transferring it over to Carolyn or Karen.
Yeah, thanks, Eric, and thanks, Catherine Passan, for being really excited for this project. And thank you to all of you for spending the start of your evening with us, because we obviously want to focus this project around you, our athletes. So thank you so much. As
You're welcome.
Catherine, Daniel, Eric had said, by the end of the week, hopefully we can send out all the documents that we talked about this evening and also the PowerPoint. And then as we work on putting together that survey, we'll definitely work with the Leadership Council and our athlete leadership groups to help get our fellow athletes, our coaches, families to complete that survey. So this is just the start, and we hope that you will continue on and share your feedback and input with us, because we're very excited. And as Catherine said, you'll have her email and you'll have my email. I know you all are in touch with Karen quite frequently. So please, as you think of things, have questions or comments, don't hesitate to reach out to us.